Check 1, check 2. We're recording. Chicken saltimbocca. This saltimbocca. Chicken saltimbocca. We're making chicken saltimbocca. This is one of my favorite Italian dishes. It is so easy to make at home, but if I'm at an Italian restaurant, this is what I'm ordering like 90% of the time. The flavor is incredible. It literally means jump in your mouth. And this is the only meat I'm letting jump in my mouth, I think. Well, I don't know. A little roast beef. Saltimbocca has 3 main ingredients. We got prosciutto, we got sage, and we got some white wine. This recipe has been around since the 1800s in Italy, and there's a reason it's stuck. Now, typically, it's made with veal. Oh, your mother's ass. But today, we're making it with chicken. This is an easy way for people in America to make the dish. There's not a ton of places to get fresh veal, but you can get chicken any day of the week, and this is a delicious way to make chicken. Let's talk about the ingredients. We're gonna start with the prosciutto. I always buy fresh sliced prosciutto for a dish like this. You can buy the packaged one, it's fine. These ones have so much more flavor when you're getting it sliced fresh that day or even the day before. Sage. This is the signature flavor of chicken saltimbocca. It is so delicious. We're gonna use it to help us make the sauce. It's also gonna be in the chicken. We got cold butter. This is gonna help make the sauce. It's gonna bring it all together in emulsification. It has to be cold. I'll explain why later. I'm gonna prep the chicken now by slicing it really thin. All right, so we got our chicken breasts. We're gonna slice them really thin. Let's prep them by removing some of this tenderloin. I like to remove some of the tenderloin. I don't remove all of it, but I make sure there's really not much cartilage left in the chicken. So I slice off some of this here. You don't want to get too carried away because by the end of it, you could slice up the whole chicken before you even have anything left. There we go. And then what we'll do is we're just going to slice the chicken super thin. So we'll get like probably 3 slices total from each piece of chicken. This is about how thin you want it right here. This one's like see-through. While it might be good for like a cutlet, probably not great for saltimbocca, but we're going to use it anyway. There you go. Did you hear that fart? It wasn't me. With any chicken dish that was traditionally a veal dish, you want to tenderize the chicken. Chicken breast from a full-grown chicken is never going to be tender as veal, but you want it to be. So we're just going to manually make it tender. And I'm a pretty tender guy, so I can really tenderize these up. I'm gonna season both sides of the chicken with some salt and pepper. Just a little bit of pepper, not much. Do you hear my wash machine? What a ridiculous fucking sound. All right, we're gonna flip it. We'll hit this side with some salt. All right, and then I'm gonna show you 2 ways to attach the prosciutto and the sage to the chicken in 1 second. Like I'm a good trad husband, I'm gonna go change the laundry, be right back. There's 2 ways to prep this. First thing you're gonna do, some people do it differently, but I like to put the sage underneath the prosciutto. I just think it makes the most sense. So I'm gonna put 1 piece of sage, 1 to 2, because these are pretty small leaves, on each piece of chicken. We got our chicken's topped with sage. I have the prosciutto, a butterfly, nope, a leaf. I have the prosciutto in the freezer right now. And what I do is right before I'm about to do this, about 10 minutes in the freezer helps the prosciutto be really easy to peel off of each other. And that is like the most helpful tip you'll ever get from me. So I have 18-month aged prosciutto di Parma. We're gonna carefully take each piece. And you can see, these are pretty big, right? We're not gonna put this whole slice onto 1 piece of chicken. So what I'll do is I'll take it and cut it in half. Nice piece right there on our chicken. Gonna go right. You really want to try to cover the whole chicken, so sometimes I'll kind of mix and match. Like I'll grab this piece here, rip it a little bit, place it onto my chicken, 2 pieces just like that. Boom. That's the dad tax. There's 2 ways to do this, right? 1 is toothpicks. You can find the sage here and just kind of thread the toothpick through the chicken, through the prosciutto, through the sage, and then back through. You can kind of see how the toothpick holds the sage and the prosciutto in place. I don't love this way because I find that what happens is there's always areas that don't get a great sear when you have toothpicks in meat. There's another way that people do it, and a lot of chefs do it. All you really need to do to get the prosciutto to stick to the chicken is give it a good smack on there. So just smack it, and it'll really stick. I learned this technique from Kenji Lopez, so that nobody thinks I'm stealing it. Now, whenever I'm flouring anything that I'm gonna fry, I really like to only do it when I'm about to fry it, because flour gets soaked up into meat like this. So you just take your flour here, you're just gonna drop the chicken in, flour it, drop the prosciutto side in, flour it, there you go. I like to really crank my heat when I'm doing these. These are super thin. We're gonna sear them, not cook them all the way through, transfer them to a cooling rack, and then we'll cook them again in the sauce that we make to get them to like that 160-degree temperature. So we're gonna go in this pan with some olive oil. Gonna let that get hot for a second. Bam, 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 bam. Let's go in with our chicken. So like I said before, I'm gonna flour it while I'm about to go in with it. You always wanna go in prosciutto side first. We're only gonna do that side for about 30 seconds, really crisp up the prosciutto so it doesn't overcook, and then we're gonna flip it. So let's go in with some of these. All right, then we're gonna flip them so you get that nice crispy prosciutto. We're gonna let them cook for another 2 minutes on this side, and then we'll transfer them to the cooling rack. The first time I ever had chicken saltimbocca was at a restaurant called Mama's in Copiague, and I was like fucking mind blown how good it was. And I didn't have it for like years and years after that, until I was like, one day I was like, I need to try to make this once I had my blog. And I tried to do it from memory. I didn't look up anything online, and I ended up with this like spicy chicken prosciutto dish. It was unbelievable. Not classic chicken saltimbocca, but one of my favorite dishes that I've ever invented. Yeah, baby, that's beautiful. Perfect. Okay, then we're just gonna transfer these over to the dish. You can see this nice kind of golden brown crust we're developing here. All right, while these are frying, I wanna kind of show you what this prosciutto should look like. So what you'll see here is kind of like that nice, really reddish, pinkish color. You don't want it to turn gray. That's why we're just kind of flash frying it with that flour on it, and it'll get like this nice, like light crust. It's a little hard. You see all this brown stuff here?
What's that brown stuff?
This is all fond, and that's all flavor. That's all good stuff. So we're gonna use that in our sauce. There's not a ton of oil left, so that's perfect. We're gonna make our sauce now. It's what I like to do, and what's maybe not traditional, is I throw some sage into the oil to flavor the oil a little bit more. Then I go with my lemon and my wine. So I'll just take like a little bunch of sage leaves like this, and basically just kind of run it through the oil. This is gonna help flavor it. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of lemon. I'm gonna start breaking up some of these brown bits here. Maybe throw in a little bit more lemon. That one was a bit dry. Let's do like 2 to 3 tablespoons. There you go. You can see it's starting to thicken up here. I'll go in with the white wine. It's looking beautiful already, but we're gonna go in with about a cup and a half of white wine. We're gonna bring this to a simmer, and then we'll add our chicken back in to cook it through. While the white wine's in there, you wanna make sure there's like virtually no brown bits left on the pan. You want all that flavor in your sauce. You don't wanna leave it in the pan. I'll leave the sage leaves in there while it's simmering, and then I'll pull them before I take the chicken out. All right, once the sauce starts simmering for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, you stop smelling the wine, like the alcohol smell. What we're gonna do is start transferring some of this chicken back into the sauce. The natural gelatin from the chicken and the prosciutto will help thicken the sauce a bit. And we'll let that simmer for about 3 minutes, let the chicken come to 160, then we'll transfer this to a plate, throw in our other chicken, and I'll show you how to make the sauce, which is like the most unbelievable part of chicken saltimbocca. What you can see already is just from the chicken and the fond being in there, how rich the sauce starts to get. You can see it's thickening, it's becoming more opaque. When we add the butter in, that's when it's gonna become so rich and delicious. You could potentially cook the chicken first, finish the sauce, and then add the chicken all to the sauce. I prefer to flash fry the chicken, make the sauce, then add the chicken to it. While the sauce fully cooks the chicken, it's pulling some of that natural gelatin out of the chicken breast, which helps thicken it. Then I transfer the chicken out one more time, add the butter, create the beautiful, like rich, delicious sauce, and I just pour that over the chicken. So we removed all of our chicken. You can see kind of how thick this sauce is getting when I drag the spoon through. You get that beautiful line. Completely turn off the heat. Let this cool for like 1 to 2 minutes because it's in a pretty thick pan. I want there to be 0 bubbles happening when I add in the cold butter. I'm gonna cut up the cold butter into chunks. This is the best way to get a good emulsification. This will let the butter slowly mix in with the sauce so that the fats don't separate from the sauce immediately. You can see that the sauce is no longer simmering. Add in our butter, stir that in. You can see how the butter slowly melts into the sauce. If you use warm butter, you'll be melting it too fast. The emulsification process won't have time to happen slowly. This is what a good emulsified sauce looks like. You want to drag your spoon through and it should look like Moses' part in the Red Sea. Now we'll transfer the chicken and the sauce to a plate and combine it. If you're only making like 4 slices of chicken, you can just put them right back in the pan. And this is chicken saltimbocca. I'm gonna give it a little taste test here. This is my favorite dish. Oh, yeah. I have the full written and printable recipe on my website, always from scratch, right here. Go to the link in the description to find it. You can find all of my recipes on Always From Scratch. You can see us on Instagram at VindelJudas. Good luck spelling that. Like, comment, subscribe to keep this channel alive, man. I am loving the long form stuff. This is so much fun. So much easier to teach recipes when I have more than 45 seconds to do so. And that's chicken saltimbocca. Try this one out. It is delicious. Thank you.
Always from scratch. Do 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 do.